can think of two possible scenarios. The West keeps printing money, and that spreads into printing money in Asia too, because they fix their exchange rates, and that all happens without the Asian countries trying to devalue further against and use capital controls to devalue further against the US dollar. If that keeps going, and we keep this really, I don't know, I hesitate to use the word crazy, but this zero interest rates printing money kind of a process, if that continues, then commodity prices can continue to pick up and do okay. Because whenever the dollar's weak, which happens when you're printing money in the United States, and when everyone else is sort of printing money and therefore growing faster, this is good for commodities. I mean, obviously, if you're in a bubble type of situation, it's not going to last. But in terms of a near-term scenario, if we allow that to happen, commodity prices could do okay from here. The alternative scenario is that the US economy becomes to go so well that they actually begin to tighten monetary policy. And then if that happens, the dollar starts to rise. Now think about this from Australia's point of view. The dollar starts to rise. This has always been a bad thing for Australia when the dollar starts to rise. Japan's been printing money. The yen's already fallen a lot. But when the dollar rises, the yen always falls anyway, even if they weren't printing money. So there's a really good chance here that yen is going to fall a lot. And if the yen falls a lot, particularly if the US dollar starts rising, then what happens is, well, first of all, commodity prices suffer when the US dollar rises. But secondly, if all these countries that are targeting onto the US dollar have to follow the US dollar up while Japan's becoming competitive, remember that in our region, Asian countries are really competing with Japan. So if the Japanese yen's going down and the dollar starts to rise, dragging up all the Asian currencies, they're all going to suffer. And of course, nobody, whenever you think about the Asia crisis in 1998 and the GFC, it was always after the dollar turned and started to rise and the Japanese yen started to fall that this really put pressure on the Asian countries. So there's two scenarios where we go from here. If we get to the end of the quantitative easing relatively soon in the US and the dollar starts to rise, then I'm afraid that Australia's outlook is going to be having some real headwinds. And it's going to be a problem. On the other hand, if we keep this printing money, this competition to push currencies down, we keep that going for longer, then we can have a short-lived kind of continuation. But whatever, I think that will end badly as well.